move over China. Donald Trump might have just ignited a resource war with Canada, America's long-standing ally. Forget ideological clashes or military tensions. This conflict is about something far more fundamental: resources. Trump isn't just flexing his muscles, he's shredding decades-old agreements, unleashing tariffs like it's a trade war on overdrive, and pulling Canada into an unexpected showdown. The once unshakable US-Canada partnership is now in jeopardy, with the northern neighbor cast as a surprising adversary. So, what's driving this rift? Why is Trump targeting Canada? And what might a full-scale resource war entail? Let's dive in. Canada is a resource powerhouse, spanning over 3.8 million square miles, making it the world's second-largest country. It boasts vast forests covering 39% of its land, or about 367 million hectares. That's nearly 10% of global forest cover, supplying wood for construction, manufacturing, and fuel. Beneath the surface, Canada dominates in minerals. It's the top producer of potash, key for fertilizers, and a leader in uranium, copper, nickel, cobalt, gold, silver, iron, and diamonds. It holds the world's third-largest oil reserves and ranks fourth in oil production and exports, trailing only the US, Saudi Arabia, and Russia. But its most critical asset? Water. With 2 million lakes, Canada controls roughly 20% of the planet's surface, fresh water, much of it in the Great Lakes. Superior, Huron, Erie, and Ontario shared with the US. For years, treaties like the 1972 Great Lakes Water Quality Agreement, the 1909 Boundary Waters Treaty, and the Great Lakes Compact have governed this shared resource, ensuring sustainable management and cooperation. The Water Quality Agreement commits both nations to protect the Great Lakes ecosystem, while the Boundary Waters Treaty prevents disputes over shared waters. The Compact, binding 8 U.S. states, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Minnesota, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, regulates usage to preserve the lakes for the future. But Trump's recent moves threaten to unravel them all. According to a New York Times report, Trump vented frustrations to then-Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in February 2025 phone calls, targeting Canada's dairy protections, consumption taxes, and barriers to U.S. banks. He hinted at redrawing borders and renegotiating water-sharing deals. Later, U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick told Canadian Finance Minister Dominic LeBlanc that Trump aimed to ditch multiple treaties, including those safeguarding the Great Lakes. Reactions range from alarm to disbelief. Liz Kirkwood of Flow called these agreements a global model for stewarding 20% of Earth's fresh water, warning that disruption would harm lakes, communities, and U.S.-Canada ties. Joel Brameyer of the Alliance for the Great Lakes stressed their foundational role in sustainable protection, while Cheryl Nen of Milwaukee Riverkeeper urged keeping politics out of the equation. Water advocate Maud Barlow outlined a dire scenario. If Trump scraps the compact, the U.S. could divert Great Lakes water for his manufacturing and tech ambitions, leaving Canada powerless. This could escalate a trade spat into a resource grab, straining an already tense relationship. Canadians, Barlow predicts, would fiercely resist, with even apolitical citizens rallying against water exports. Historian Daniel McFarlane noted that U.S.-Canada water relations rely on trust, an honor system, and a leader flouting that could spark chaos. Why is Trump pushing this? Water scarcity offers clues. The U.S. Southwest's mega drought, the worst in pushing 200 years, has raised temperatures by over 2 degrees Fahrenheit, fueling crises like the January 2025 Southern California wildfires, which killed 29, displaced 200,000, and scorched 89 square miles. Trump's fix? Tap Canada's water. In 2024, He claimed Canada could redirect British Columbia's snowmelt from the Pacific to California via a mythical faucet, a notion experts like engineer Alain Pietroniro debunked. Still, it reveals Trump's fixation on Canada as a solution. This isn't just about water. Since December 2024, Trump has floated annexing Canada as the 51st state, dubbing Trudeau Governor Justin on Truth Social. Initially dismissed as bluster, he doubled down post-election, vowing at a January 7, 2025, Mar-a-Lago press conference to expand U.S. territory through economic force. Tariffs followed. A 25% levy on Canadian and Mexican goods, signed February 1, 2025, sparked retaliatory Canadian tariffs, igniting a trade war. Trump briefly paused them after Trudeau's pleas, but later escalated, targeting vehicles, steel, aluminum, dairy, and lumber. Canada's response has deepened the divide. 70% of Canadians now view the U.S. less favorably. Travel between the nations has plummeted, and boycotts of U.S. goods are surging. Yet, the U.S. and Canada remain economically intertwined. Canada sends 75% of its exports to the U.S., which supplies 62% of Canada's imports. Daily cross-border trade hits $3.6 billion, supporting 8 million U.S. jobs and powering states like Michigan and New York. New Canadian PM Mark Carney declared the era of tight integration over, signaling a pivot to Europe and the UK. But Trump's pressure, tariffs, treaty threats, might aim to force Canada's hand. What's next? If Trump scraps the Great Lakes agreements, the U.S. could siphon water to drought-stricken regions, risking ecological collapse. Expert Gail Kranzberg warns of sewage fouling Lake Erie, invasive species like Asian carp devastating fisheries, and pollution spiking across the lakes. A multi-billion-dollar disaster. Trump might not stop there, eyeing Canadian territory or pushing his 51st state vision despite Canadian rejection. For now, Canada holds firm, but sustained U.S. pressure could test its resilience. This saga is unfolding fast. Tariffs persist, tensions mount, and a once solid alliance frays. Whether Trump's gamble pays off or backfires remains unclear, but the stakes from resources to geopolitics couldn't be higher. Curious for more? Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more updates.